Hey, Trailblazers! Today, we're diving into the early republic, a time when the United States was like a new kid on the block, figuring out who it was and how it would survive. We're talking about the first two presidents, George Washington, the very first leader, and John Adams, the second president, with a big job to follow. Picture it. It's 1789. The ink on the Constitution is barely dry, and George Washington is elected the first president. He's like, okay, great, now what? Washington faced some huge challenges. The US was in debt from the Revolutionary War, and no one knew if this new government would actually work. Imagine trying to lead a country that's still learning to walk. Washington and his team, the very first cabinet, had to make decisions that would set the tone for everything to come. One big question: how much power should the federal government have? Should states be able to do their own thing, or should the national government have the final say? And then there was this idea of staying out of other countries' business. Washington decided that the US wouldn't get tangled up in European wars. This was called neutrality, a choice that wasn't super popular with everyone, but Washington saw it as essential for keeping the country together. Imagine how challenging that decision must have been. After Washington, John Adams took over in 1797, and things got even more interesting. France and Britain were at each other's throats, and they both wanted the US to pick a side. Adams worked hard to keep the peace with France, but it wasn't easy. At one point, there was even the possibility of war. Can you imagine how tense that was? But Adams stayed strong, even if it wasn't popular. He passed laws like the Alien and Sedition Acts, which were controversial because people thought they limited free speech. Adams was trying to keep the country safe from possible threats, but his decisions sparked debates that are still talked about today. So, Trailblazers, as you can see, leading a brand new country was no easy task. Both Washington and Adams faced huge obstacles as they shaped the United States. From deciding how much power the government should have, to figuring out how the US should interact with the world, they were making it up as they went along. That's it for today's flash look at the early republic. Next time, we'll dig even deeper into the events and choices that shaped America's early years. Until then, think about this. What choices would you make if you were running a brand new country?